welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Television. With you, your host İlham, with most important events of the day. On October 12th, President İlham Aliyev gave an interview to Turkish Haber Global Television.
President İlham Aliyev noted in his interview that the Armenian diaspora organization and their supporters started a press war against Azerbaijan in regards to the latest battles, saying that as a result of this, in many cases, distorted information was highlighted in the world press. The head of state expressed gratitude for the activity of the Turkish press and conveying the Azerbaijani realities to the world. President İlham Aliyev noted that immediately after the application of ceasefire regime, Armenia continued its dirty actions and launched rockets at the civilian population in Ganja city. Emphasizing that this is yet another manifestation of the Armenian fascism, the head of state added that they gave them worse response on the battlefield and took the revenge of those who had been killed on the battleground. President İlham Aliyev stressed that the victorious Azerbaijani army every day claimed new victories and liberated territories from the occupation, and said there was precise information that Pashinyan was experiencing psychological depression, and added that the Armenians attempted to regain control over Hadrut, but the Azerbaijani army gave them a worse response. The head of our state spoke of the support of Turkey and President of the brotherly country, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and touching on the ceasefire issue, noted that in order to gain sustainable ceasefire, first of all, Armenia should understand they would not be able to see the lands liberated from the occupation. Let them save wherever they want. Let them support however they want. This will not happen, said the head of state. He noted that the document adopted in Moscow completely meets our interests. President İlham Aliyev stressed that Turkey should be actively involved in the political settlement of this conflict. Answering the question in respect to the status quo, the head of state stressed that there was no status quo or the line of contact. The rescue mission of the Azerbaijani army continues, said the president, and stressed that the myth about the so-called undefeated Armenian army disappeared. If the political process does not start, we will not stop. I already said we will go until the end, stressed the head of state, and added that the life will return to the territories liberated from the occupation and all the destructed areas will be restored.
On October 12th, the 71st Virtual International Astronautical Congress on the theme Cyberspace Edition was held. President İlham Aliyev's video message was released at the opening ceremony of the Congress.
Looking even further in the future, let us connect with the host city for the IAC 2023, Baku in Azerbaijan. I'm honored to give the floor to His Excellency İlham Aliyev, the President of Azerbaijan.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely greet you from Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan will be hosting the International Astronautical Congress in 2023. First of all, I'd like to express gratitude to the members of International Astronautical Federation, its bureau and its committees for support of our candidacy. Azerbaijan hosted once International Astronautical Congress in 1973, so it will be symbolic that after 50 years, in 2023, we will host the second Congress in our capital. But at that time, Azerbaijan was not independent. Azerbaijan was part of the Soviet Union, was one of the 15 republics of the Soviet Union. And the selection in 1973 of Azerbaijan as a host for the Congress demonstrated the high intellectual and technical potential of our people and Azerbaijan. In 3 years' time, we will see you in Baku. It will be very symbolic that after 50 years, the Congress will come back to our city, but now to the capital of independent Azerbaijan. During the times of independence, Azerbaijan achieved tremendous progress. Our country is one of the countries which is active on the international arena. Today, Azerbaijan is chairing the second after United Nations international body, the non-alignment movement. Our economic performance is reflected in statistics. During the last 70 years, our GDP tripled. Level of poverty dropped from almost 50% to 5%. Our foreign debt is something around 20% of our GDP, and our reserves 6 times exceed the foreign debt. Now, our natural resources serve the cause of development, and transformation of natural resources into human capital is one of our main priorities. Azerbaijan today is a member of the Space Club, and with 3 satellites, Azerbaijan is planning to continue its activity in this direction. And I'm sure that the Congress to be held in our capital in 2023 will give additional impetus to the development of space industry in our country. I wish you all the best and see you in Baku in 2023. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you so much for these inspiring words, and we are looking forward to come to Baku in 2023.
The foundation of the development of space industry in Azerbaijan was laid by the nationwide leader Heydar Aliyev. The fact that our country hosted the International Astronautical Congress in 1973 is a vivid example of it. This event demonstrated to the whole world the high intellectual and technical potential of our people. President İlham Aliyev is successfully continuing this policy of the nationwide leader. Over the recent years, much has been done in our country under the leadership of the head of state to improve science, technology, ICT, as well as space industry. Development and realization of space programs have gone down in history as one of the greatest achievements of our history of independence. The fact that over the recent 5 years our country owned 3 satellites has turned Azerbaijan into an active member of the Space Club. Thus, Azerbaijan has proved to be one of the leading countries in the area of information and communication technologies. Baku's hosting the International Astronautical Congress in 2023 demonstrates Azerbaijan's international influence and is also connected with the recent achievements of our country in the sphere of ICT. It should be noted that the International Astronautical Congress has been organized annually since 1950. The 71st International Astronautical Congress, which was planned to take place in Dubai, United Arab Emirates this year, has been postponed till next year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but with the view of ensuring continuation of the event, the Federation holds this year's Congress in a virtual format on October 12-14. The Congress is a global platform bringing together more than 6,000 specialists from up to 70 countries.
According to the General Prosecutor's Office, the number of casualties as a result of a missile strike by the Armenian armed forces against civilians of Ganja at night on October 11th reached 10. On October 12th, Aliyeva Günay, born in 1992, died in the hospital where she was undergoing treatment. On October 12th, heads of the diplomatic corps in Azerbaijan, ambassadors, military attachés, heads of representations of international organizations in Azerbaijan visited Ganja city. The visit aimed to acquaint them with the crime scene of Armenia's missile reckless attack against innocent civilians and energy infrastructure. Assistant to the President of Azerbaijan, Hikmet Ajiyev, noted that Scud missile is a medium-range ballistic missile and is also capable of carrying nuclear warheads. In general, if we look at the recent military operations in the world, we see that it is one of the very unique cases that a ballistic and highly destructive missile is fired at a city of more than 500,000 residents. He stated that it shows that the military political leadership of Armenia did not have any moral, ethical rules and barriers belonging to the world's civilization. Once again, we assess it as vandalism and barbarism." End of quote. Remnants of the first part of the rocket launched on Ganja are similar to remnants of the rocket that fell on a mountain and exploded in Migechevir, said Amana's director Gazafar Ahmedov. The last remnants of that rocket were found on October 12th. At Cape 14 is written on the remnants of the rocket. This allowed us to say with full confidence this was the Elbrus system. Immediately after the attack, a team of doctors and psychologists of the Ministry of Emergency Situations of Azerbaijan was sent on an official trip to Ganja. Deputy Minister of Emergency Situations of Azerbaijan, Ragim Latifov, said. Additionally, a special commission of the Ministry of Emergency Situations is working to assess the damage caused by the attacks in Ganja. Azerbaijan is a tolerant state. There are many churches, mosques, synagogues in our country. Haji Tahir Abbasov, an authorized representative of the chairman of the Caucasian Muslims office, stated, noted that a mosque belonging to the fifth grandson of the Prophet of Islam, dating back to the 9th century, had been damaged in Ganja. At the same time, a century-and-a-half-old Orthodox church in Ganja had been damaged as well. It shows that no religion, no belief matters to Armenians. Manuel Pinavera, ambassador of Switzerland in Azerbaijan, said that BİRİNCİlik declared its position back on September 28th. Settlement of the conflict within the framework of international law should provide safety to people. Head of the European Union delegation to Azerbaijan, Kestutis Yankaskis, noted that the world community condemns lack of compliance with humanitarian ceasefire. Ambassador of Brazil to Azerbaijan, Manuel Carlos Montenegro El de Cruz, stressed that Brazil continues to support peaceful settlement of the conflict. The humanitarian ceasefire was violated. Brazil highly regards that both sides sat down at the negotiations table in Moscow and urges them to continue negotiations. The next video footage is from Ganja. The residents of the city and deputies who visited the site of the terrible tragedy paid tribute to the memory of the victims. The terror that took place in Ganja is in the focus of the world media's attention. This time, renowned BBC television prepared a report from the scene.
Let me see his face, she begs one last time. She is not alone in this desperate search. Let me see, says this woman. Is he from my family? Orla Gern's report starts with these words. May the Armenians die, she cries. Here is what's left of her neighborhood in Ganja city, Azerbaijan's second largest city, far from the front line but not far enough. Referring to the official Baku, the correspondent says those are the remnants of ballistic missile, and Baku is accusing Armenia of a war crime. And what happens next? Is there worse to come for the both sides? Is the ceasefire dead? The correspondent addresses these questions to Assistant of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Head of Foreign Policy Affairs Department of the Presidential Administration, Hikmet Hajiyev. Actually, it's hard to assess the situation, therefore, currently we are considering the situation. If Armenia continues to attack Azerbaijani civilians, then Azerbaijan will be obliged to take necessary measures against legitimate military targets, Hikmet Hajiyev responded. You are saying that they have fired you, and you are also saying that you reserve the right to retaliate, so which is it? Are you sticking to the ceasefire, or are you going to retaliate for this attack? Hikmet Hajiyev said that at this stage we are trying to stick to the ceasefire regime, but of course, if they continue attacking Azerbaijani civilians, as every nation will also have the right for self-defense. At the end, the correspondent brought to the attention general orders of war.
But Azerbaijan too is accused of breaching the ceasefire.
Euronews heard a report about Armenia's missile attack on Ganja. Assistant of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Head of the Foreign Policy Department of the Presidential Administration, Hikmet Hajiyev, told the TV channel about the terror against the civilian population. He called the shelling of Ganja an act of genocide. This is an act of genocide against Azerbaijanis, which was committed by the Armenian political leaders. There is a document on a ceasefire and a truce for humanitarian purposes. The next day, the Armenian armed forces launched a rocket attack on the densely populated region of Ganja. This is a war crime, and this once again demonstrates the hypocrisy of the Armenian side, Hikmet Hajiyev stated. Genocide on the first day of ceasefire. Under this headline, the German edition Bild published an article about the rocket attack by Armenia on Ganja. The publication emphasizes that during the shelling of the city, more than 40 people, including children, were killed or wounded. German military expert Fabian Hinst analyzed the attack for Bild. He noted that it is obvious that the city of Ganja, located more than 60 kilometers away from the front line, was attacked by Armenia. Hinds stressed that during the attack, Skadar.U missiles were used, and both ballistic missiles are in service with Armenia. The German military expert noted that such missiles, which have a huge destructive effect, are completely banned from using even against military targets in densely populated areas. Italian Senator Maria Rizzotti strongly condemned Armenia's rocket attacks at various Azerbaijani settlements, Vestnik Kavkaza news portal reported. The Italian senator stressed that despite being a country under military aggression, Azerbaijan has accepted the calls of the international community for a ceasefire. Quote, "The latest events are further evidence of Armenia's gross violation of the ceasefire for escalation of the conflict, and it is a moral obligation to immediately stop the Armenian armed forces, which have committed genocide and war crimes against the Azerbaijani people." End of quote. Armenia, which is committing war crimes and crimes against humanity, will one day be held accountable to both history and international law. Turkish National Defense Minister Hulusi Akar said while commenting on the Armenian attack on Gence.
Turkish Minister of Defense Hulusi Akar said that Armenia's attack on civilians is not a new fact. Armenia has always been extremely aggressive, committing crimes against humanity and war. As a result of the support they get, they have gone beyond the limit. Unfortunately, Gence and many other settlements were ruthlessly attacked and continue to be attacked by the Armenians. It also means a ceasefire violation. Sooner or later, they will have to answer before both history and international law.
The Azerbaijani army destroyed 3 other unmanned aerial vehicles of the Armenian armed forces. On the night of October 12th, Azerbaijan air defense units have destroyed 2 unmanned aerial vehicles in the direction of the Tovuz region of the Armenia-Azerbaijan state border. And on October 12th, at about 10 p.m., 1 UAV at the direction of Aghdam region, the Ministry of Defense added. The Defense Ministry released a video recording of liberated Süleymanli village of Jabrail region. "122 cases of the novel coronavirus were registered in Azerbaijan. 47 people recovered after treatment and were released home. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 42,104, with 39,404 recoveries and 609 deaths. The number of active infections is 2,091. To detect new infection cases, 1,180,271 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan so far, reported the task force under the Cabinet of Ministers. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.